أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه العبد المؤيد والرسول المسدد حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وصحابته المنتجبين. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: من قتل نفسا بغير نفس أو فساد في الأرض فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا ومن أحياها فكأنما أحيا الناس جميعا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
We, the followers of Ahlulbayt, we have a blessing that might not be in other schools of thought. And that blessing is that the door of ijtihad is open. Till today, even though the Quran was revealed over 14 centuries ago, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam lived over 14 centuries ago, yet the door of ijtihad still exists. What do I mean by the door of ijtihad? It means that till today, scholars in the school of thought of Ahlulbayt can derive new laws based on the original sources, based on the Quran and on the Sunnah of Rasulullah and the Ahlulbayt. They can derive new laws. Yes, there's a question whether the door of ijtihad is open in the Sunni school of thought or is it closed. The majority believe that it is closed. Now, there are contemporary scholars, they say that the door of ijtihad is open, even in the Sunni school of thought. What does this mean? What does this entail? That the door of ijtihad is open in the Shia school of thought. It means that our fiqh, that our law system, legal system, is always up to date. It's never outdated. Whenever there's new problems, new challenges, new issues, our scholars have the ability to derive new laws, new religious solutions. Islam is never outdated. A time will never come in which Islam is no longer applicable. Islam doesn't have solutions and answers. No. Thanks to the door of ijtihad being open, Islam is always up to date. Islam always has new solutions, new answers to contemporary problems. For example, today there are things that didn't exist at the time of the revelation of the Quran, nor at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. Today there are new issues, new topics that require answers, that require religious solutions. For example, today we have banks and credit cards and mortgages. These things didn't exist before. They didn't exist 14 centuries ago. They didn't exist 50 years ago, 100 years ago. The mortgage system, this is something new. The credit card system, this is something new. And in fact, it only exists in the West. In the East, some countries in the East, they still don't know what a credit card is. They still don't know what mortgage is. Well, what does Islam say about them? What does Islam say about banks, credit cards, mortgages? Taking a loan from the bank, what does Islam say about this? Scholars have solutions. thanks to the door of ijtihad being open, scholars can go back to the Quran and the tradition of Ahlulbayt and the sayings of Ahlulbayt and the Sunnah, and they can derive new laws. We don't need to depend on old scholars as they do in the Sunni school of thought. Today in the Sunni school of thought, they depend on four main scholars: Abu Hanifa, Al-Shafi'i, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, and Malik ibn Anas. As for us, the followers of Ahlul Bayt, it is forbidden for us to follow deceased scholars. We have to follow living scholars. And these living scholars, they're jurists. They derive new laws. They have that ability. Islam has given them the right to derive new laws. They're jurists. For example, on the topic of stem cell research, cloning, dissection, whether dissection is for scientific purposes or criminal purposes, legal purposes like autopsies. Scholars have solutions. They've given an answer. Is it halal or is it haram? They've given an answer, a solution. Among the contemporary and controversial topics is organ donation. What does Islam say about organ donation? The topic of organ donation is contemporary. It's relatively new because organ transplants were discovered maybe, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago. Within the past few decades. I don't exactly know when. But within the past few decades. It's relatively new. And it's still a controversial topic, not just in the East, not just among Muslims, but even among Westerners in the West. It's a controversial topic. Should people donate their organs or not? Should we take organs of the dead people when they died? Should we take their organs or not? This is a controversial subject, not just among Muslims, but even among Westerners, among Europeans and Americans. Thus, it's a controversial issue, and tonight, in the few minutes that we have, we'd like to shed light and examine this topic. What does Islam say about organ donation? During my travels across the United States, Canada, Europe, and the Western world in general, I'm faced with this question all the time. What does Islam say about organ donation? Does Islam promote it? Does Islam encourage organ donation, or Islam say no, it's forbidden, and that we should not donate our organs? Tonight we shall touch upon this subject, inshallah. But first, number one, we shall examine some numbers, statistics, and facts about organ donation. Number two, we shall examine what does Islam say about saving people's lives and about helping people, rescuing people, serving people. Number three, we shall see what Islam says about organ donation. And this is divided into three parts. Number one is donating your own organs. Someone who wants to donate one of his kidneys. To donate, for example, one of his organs. Is this allowed or is it not allowed? Which organs are we allowed to donate? Are we allowed to donate any organ that we wish? Or there are certain organs that we're allowed to donate and other organs that we're not allowed to donate? We shall see this. Also, to whom do we donate our organs? Do we donate our organs only to Muslims, or are we allowed to donate our organs to non-Muslims, Christians, Jews, maybe even Buddhists, maybe even atheists? Is this allowed or is this not allowed? This is one. Two, taking organs from the dead, from dead people. Those who die at the moment of their death while their organs are still fresh. Are we allowed to take their organs or not? We shall examine this. And we shall see, we shall ask that whether the dead person, when he was alive, did he give consent for his organs to be taken or not? And two, can we give them to non-Muslims or only to Muslims? We shall examine this. And three, we shall examine patients who are brain dead, brain stem death, those who are legally dead, scientifically dead, brain dead. Are we allowed to take their organs, or are we not allowed to take their organs? Those who have absolutely no chance of recovery, they call them vegetables. They're only breathing, that's it. Their heart works thanks to a ventilator, thanks to a machine. Otherwise, their brain is dead and has absolutely no chance of recovery. Are we allowed to take their organs or not? These topics in the next couple of minutes we shall examine. وصلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
First of all, as we mentioned, organ donation did not exist previously. There were thousands, hundreds, if not thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people that would die due to kidney failure, lung failure, liver failure, pancreas failure. They would have failure in one of their organs, and thousands of people would die. But in this century, in the past few decades, thanks to the gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given human beings, this mind, that we humans, we rarely use it and make use of it. Some people in this century, they made use of this mind, this gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them, this creative gift, this creative mind. And they discovered that those who have failure in certain organs, like kidney failure, lung failure, pancreas, liver, other parts, heart failure, we can take an organ from another human being and make it into a transplant. Put a transplant in the human that has a failure. And it will work. That human who needed the transplant will survive. Subhanallah. We borrow someone else's organs. Humans in this century, they discovered this. That we can borrow people's organs. Someone's heart, someone's kidneys, someone's lungs. We can borrow them and we can survive from that person's organ. And thousands of lives were saved because of this, because of organ donation and because of organ transplant. However, there was one challenge. What was that challenge? Lack of donors. Who was willing to donate? There were very few. Even though we discovered the ability to donate our organs and save people's lives, yet there were very few to come out and say, I'm willing. I have an extra kidney, you can come and take my kidney. I have an extra lung, you can come and take my lung. There were very few, even at the time of death, they knew that they're about to die. There were very few that give consent to take their organs after death. Very few. The vast majority die. They're buried, and along with them, their organs get buried. Thus, this was a major challenge. This was a major challenge. In a UK newspaper called The Week, in the United Kingdom, in England, annually there's about 8,000 people that need an organ. They are in need of an organ transplant. And annually in the United Kingdom, there's only 3,000 donors, approximately, according to statistics, according to this newspaper. There's only 3,000 donors. That means how many people remain without a donor? 5,000. 5,000 people in the UK remain without an organ donation, without an organ transplant. From those 5,000, 1,000 of them die each year. Each year, 1,000 people in the UK die because of an organ failure, because they did not have a donor. And this is only in the United Kingdom. Around the globe, worldwide, there is approximately 90,000 people who are in need of a transplant. Whether it's a heart transplant or a kidney or a pancreas or lung or intestines. One of their organs is in failure and they're in need of a transplant. 90,000 people. And according to statistics, that per month 20 people die each month around the globe. At least 20 people die every month because they didn't find a donor and they couldn't get the right transplant. Here in New Zealand, at any time, at any given time, there's anywhere from 400 to 500 people that need a transplant. Here in New Zealand. And New Zealand has the lowest rates of organ donation. People are not willing to donate their organs here in this country. Not only living people, they're not willing to give their organs. Even the dead, very few of those who die give consent for their organs to be used as a transplant. Or their families give consent for their deceased one, their loved one, who just died, for his organs to be used. Very, very few. In 2004, last year, only 38 deceased donors in New Zealand. That means only 38 dead people, their organs were used. The others, how many people died in 2014 here in New Zealand? How many? Thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, correct? They were buried with their organs. They were buried and they went to waste. Only 38 of them were used. Last year, here in New Zealand, there was only 174 transplant operations from the living and the dead. Altogether, only 174 transplant operations. Even though you have up to 500 people that are in need of transplants. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. When we come to Islam, we see that Islam emphasizes on the sanctity of human life. That human life has a sanctity. In fact, Islam emphasizes on saving human lives, rescuing people's lives. The verse that I began with, من قتل نفسا بغير نفس أو فساد في الأرض فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا. He who takes a single life, a single soul, it's as if he's taken the souls of the entire human race. وَمَنْ أَحْيَاهَا فَكَأَنَّمَا أَحْيَا النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا. And he who rescues and saves one life, it's as if he's rescued the entire human race. The entire human race. Do you find this in any other faith? In any other religion? In any other sect? No, you will only find this in Islam. This is the value of saving a human life in Islam. Islam is the religion of kindness. Islam is the religion of humanity. Islam is the religion that came to serve human beings. If you save one human being, it's as if you've saved the entire human race. Now notice with me that the Quran says, مَنْ قَتَلَ نَفْسًا. The Quran does not say, وَمَنْ قَتَلَ مُسْلِمًا or مُؤْمِنًا. وَمَنْ أَحْيَاهَا. أحيا what? وَمَنْ أَحْيَا نَفْسًا. The verse does not say, وَمَنْ أَحْيَا مُؤْمِنًا or Musliman. He who rescues a life, any life, whether it's a Muslim life, or a Christian life, or a Jewish life, or a Buddhist life, or even an atheist life. The Quran speaks generally. The Quran could have easily said, وَمَنْ أَحْيَا مُسْلِمًا. No. وَمَنْ أَحْيَاهَا. Meaning, وَمَنْ أَحْيَا نَفْسًا. He who rescues any life, it's as if he's rescued the entire human race. That is why in a little bit we shall see that some jurists, they said you are allowed to donate your organs, but only to Muslims. Only to Muslims. Where did you come up with this? With all due respect for all of our jurists and all of our scholars and all of our mujtahids, where did you come up with this limitation? That the one you rescue has to be a Muslim? No. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. الثاني يرحمكم الله. I'd like to welcome our dear brother Hujjat al-Islam wal-Muslimin, Sayyid Salih al-Mudarrisi, the son of the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Muhammad Taqi al-Mudarrisi. Welcome to our majlis. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. The Quran speaks in general terms. It doesn't say he who rescues the life of a Muslim or saves the life of a Muslim. He who saves the life of a human, any human soul, then it's equivalent to saving the entire human race. This is in the Quran. When we come to the ahadith and the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we see that the Prophet, the Messenger of Allah, says that the best of you, the best of people are those who serve people. Those who help people are the best people. عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم خير الناس من نفع الناس. The best of people, the best of humans are those who help humans. Those who serve humans, they are the best of people. In another hadith, الخلق عيال الله فأحب الخلق إلى الله من نفع عيال الله, or من نفع عيال الله. The human race are the family of Allah, and the best people are those who help Allah's family. Those who help, those who serve. Now, what would you say about organ donation? Is it helping people or is it not helping people? Is it saving people's life or is it not saving people's life? Is it serving people or is it not serving people? Of course it is. خَيْرُ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَنْتَفِعُ بِهِ النَّاسِ. The best of people are those who people benefit from. Those who serve. They are the best of people. We have verses that encourage doing good. Doing good. Doing good deeds. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Those who do good deeds. وَالْبَاقِيَاتُ الصَّالِحَاتِ خَيْرٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ. خَيْرٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ ثَوَابًا. رَبِّ أَوْزِعْنِي أَنْ أَشْكُرَ نِعْمَتَكَ الَّتِي أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيَّ وَعَلَى وَالِدَيَّ وَأَنْ أَعْمَلَ صَالِحًا تَرْضَاهُ وَأَصْلِحْ لِي فِي ذُرِّيَّتِي. The Quran emphasizes on good deeds, doing good deeds. Do good. Now I ask you, when donating an organ to save someone's life, is this a good deed or is it not a good deed? Of course it's a good deed. Even an atheist would tell you that donating your organ is considered a good deed. It's a virtuous deed. Thus, Islam, number one, emphasizes on rescuing people's lives, saving people's lives. Two, Islam emphasizes on helping people, serving people. Three, Islam emphasizes on doing good deeds, performing good deeds. And as you see, none of it is limited to Muslims. We don't have a single verse that says do only good deeds to Muslims. No, it's a general. In fact, in Islam, if you quench the thirst of a cat, if you give it water and quench its thirst, that's considered a good deed. إِنَّ لِكُلِّ كَبِدٍ حَرًّا أَجْرًا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. You quench the thirst of an animal, even of a dog, this is considered a good deed. Let alone a human being, saving the life of a human being. It's definitely considered It's definitely considered a good deed. This is Islam's position. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. This is generally speaking. Generally speaking, Islam is a humanitarian religion. Islam is the religion of kindness. Islam is a religion that came to serve humans. Serve humans, whether Muslims or non-Muslims. Islam came to make people happy. من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى فلنحيينه حياة طيبة. That's the whole goal of Islam, is to make human beings happy. Now we come to our main discussion and our main question. Is organ donation accepted in Islam or is it not accepted in Islam? What does Islam say? You see, the answer is not black and white. We can't come and say that Islam allows organ donation generally, nor does it forbid it generally. It depends on the case and on the scenario. It depends which case of organ donation Islam has its ruling. It's complicated. It's not a yes or no answer. Yes, Islam allows organ donation. No. Nor does Islam ban. Answering this question requires a thorough understanding of Islam, of Islamic laws, and then we can pass an answer. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. First of all, we take the first issue, donating your own organs. Your own organs. Is this allowed or not allowed? For example, you have a friend that suffers from kidney failure. And you know, kidney failure will kill. I have relatives that died because of kidney failure. If you have a friend that needs a kidney, can you go and donate your kidney? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's fine. Not only is it okay, it's even recommended because you're saving a human life. You're saving a human life. Muslims only? No. Why do we have to restrict him to Muslims only? Can you donate your organ to a non-Muslim? There are jurists today that say yes, you can donate your organs even to a non-Muslim. The verses that we read, it does not restrict it to Muslims. وَمَنْ أَحْيَاهَا. The Quran could have said those who save only Muslim lives. But did the Quran say that? No. The Quran made a general statement. وَمَنْ أَحْيَاهَا. He rescues any life. فَكَأَنَّمَا أَحْيَا النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا. Thus, you can donate your organs. Not only is it permissible, but it is recommended, especially if you're saving a human life. Yes. Which organ can we donate? Which organs can we donate? Here, according to As-Sayyid Sistani, you are only allowed to donate an organ that does not cause you great harm. You cannot donate an organ that will cause you great harm. For example, you go and donate one of your eyes. This is not permissible. You go and donate your hand. This is not permissible. You go and donate your feet. This is not permissible. Why? Because this will cause you great harm and damage. And according to Sayyid Sistani, this is forbidden. This is forbidden for a person to cause great damage and harm to himself. But if donating one of your kidneys, for example, doesn't cause you great harm, that's fine. Because we humans can live off of one kidney, correct? One kidney for us is enough. You can donate your other kidney. That is fine. In fact, my dear friends, organ donation can be, now of course I don't mean to, I don't expect all of you tomorrow to go and enlist in organ donations. Keep your organs and be healthy. But then we're asked this question all the time. What is Islam's position regarding organ donation? This is the answer. In fact, some see organ donation as a form of da'wah. It's a form of da'wah. When you go and donate an organ, you save a human life. when you give another person a human life, this is a form of da'wah. This is a form of calling people to Islam, because this is the genuine face of Islam, my dear friends. Islam is about kindness. Islam is about mercy. We live in a day and age in which the name of Islam has been tarnished. Today, you ask anyone on the street, what do you think of Islam? What is the first thing that they think of? What is it? The Islamic State. Correct? They think of Daesh. They think of the Islamic State. They think of beheadings. They think of people being burnt alive. They think of women being massacred, children being massacred. This is the image of Islam. And by the way, there are people that do it on purpose. BBC, it calls Daesh, purposely calls it the Islamic State. Even though they have been asked, BBC has been asked not to use the term Islamic State, but to use the word Daesh. They refuse. They continue on using the word the Islamic State. Because on purpose, they want to associate these actions with Islam. This is an agenda. This is an agenda. This tells you a lot, that who's sponsoring these groups, who's behind them, who's supporting them. This tells you a lot. Anyhow, you see, organ donation is a form of da'wah. People realize that this is Islam. This human being put himself under the machine, under the knife, and was willing to donate his organ just to save the life of another human being. This is Islam. This is the true face of Islam. And the ahadith tell us, كُونُوا دُعَاةً لَنَا بِغَيْرِ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ. Call people to Islam, but you don't necessarily need to use your tongue. Well, this is a prime example. Calling people to Islam, but by not using your tongue. You don't need to shout and cry and come behind the microphone to call people to Islam. By your actions. This is one of the ways. Organ donation. Some might ask that why should I come and give one of my kidneys to a non-Muslim who will then use one of my organs to go and disobey Allah? Am I an idiot? To go and give one of my organs to someone who disbelieves in Allah and will go and disobey Allah? Why should I do this? You know, a lot of people ask this question. The answer is simple. Why do you look at it negatively? Why do you say that I will give my organ to this person who will use it to disobey Allah? Why don't you think positively and say, perhaps I will give my organ to this person who will use it to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This person might become a Muslim because of your action. Once he realizes that you are a Muslim and you gave him your organ because you're a Muslim, because your religion teaches you to be kind, well, guess what? This person will come up, might show up on your doorstep and announce his shahadatain and become a Muslim. Why do we always have to think negatively? Why don't we think positively? That this action has a positive effect. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. You know one of the ways that Christianity spread in the world? You know how it was? Through medical services. Medical services. Christianity spread across the globe. One of the ways, one of the missionary work was their hospitals. Their hospitals. Their missionary work. They have hospitals everywhere. Everywhere. All across the world. In fact, some of the world's best hospitals are Catholic hospitals and Christian hospitals. They don't need to come and pass out the Bible. They don't need to come and, preach to you about Christianity. Just this idea of gaining a new life, performing a surgery, gaining your health at a Christian hospital, this is enough da'wah for them. This is enough missionary work for them. And one of the most important hospitals in the Middle East, the American University Hospital in Beirut. It's a very well-known hospital in the Middle East. Many people from Iraq, from across the globe, from across the Middle East, they go and they perform surgeries at that hospital. That hospital was established by Christians, and it was used as missionary work. Do we Muslims think of these things? Do we ever think of establishing hospitals, establishing clinics in the name of Islam? This is da'wah. This is one of the best ways to call people to Islam. This is meaning of the hadith, كُونُوا دُعَاةً لَنَا بِغَيْرِ أَلْسُنَتِكُمْ. Call people to us, but not necessarily by your tongue, by your deeds, by your actions. And organ donation is one of the ways. صلوا على محمد وعلى محمد. This is one, donating your own organs. Two, taking the organs of the dead. Someone who just died, we take him to the hospital, and the hospital tells us that his heart is still in good condition. Can we take it? His kidneys, his liver, his pancreas, his lungs are in good condition. Can we take it? What would you do? You have a loved one, you have a family member, and they want to take their organs. Do you allow them or you don't allow them? What does Islam say? Well, before, there are various opinions. One opinion says that absolutely, let's take that organ. This human being is going to get buried, go under the ground. He's going to turn into dust and sand. Why? Why let these organs go to waste? These organs can save the lives of thousands of people. As I mentioned to you in the beginning, in the UK, 8,000 people are in need of organs. 1,000 people die annually in the UK because they don't have donors. Now imagine if we can take the organs of dead people and give it to those that are in need. How many lives would be saving? How many lives can we save by this? This opinion also says that when a human being dies, he doesn't own his body. We don't own our bodies. Who owns our bodies? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why we say, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. He takes our bodies. Our bodies belong to Him. So why can't they take my organs after I die? Even if I didn't give my consent, if I knew that my organs, my heart, my kidneys, will save a person's life after I die, I would have given my consent. Right? This is one opinion. Another opinion says no. No. Because taking someone's organs, this is disrespectful. This is disrespectful to the dead. To come and cut him into pieces and to take his heart and to take his lungs and to take... This is disrespectful for the dead. This is humiliating for the dead. And we should not disrespect the dead. The dead wish to be buried peacefully, immediately. Who are we to come and take their body parts? Who are we to come and cut them into pieces and to take their body parts? In addition to the fact that this is emotionally difficult for the family members. It's difficult. Someone who's died, they come to his son or daughter and tell him, we want to cut your father, we want to cut his body and take his organs. Do you think this is emotionally easy? No, it's emotionally difficult. This is another opinion. What is the Islamic opinion? The Islamic opinion says that if there is a human life depending on the organs of this dead body, take his organs. Take his organs. If there's a human life depending on it. That is why we see, for example, Sayyid al-Khoi. Sayyid al-Khoi had a fatwa saying that if a person gives consent before his death, that you may take my bodily organs, that's fine, you could take it as organs. I know in some countries you can give consent before your death. In the United States of America, when you apply for a driver's license, you put a tag on your driver's license. It's a yellow tag. That yellow tag means that I give consent for my organs to be donated. I don't know, maybe here in New Zealand you have something similar. As-Sayyid al-Khoi says that if a person gives consent, then they may take his organs. As-Sayyid al-Sistani, hafidhahullah, he says that if a person gives consent, then you may take his organs, but only and only if a human life depended on it. Meaning, if there were no other donors. If this dead body is the only donor, and someone's life depended on it, and he gave consent, you may take his organs. However, if there were other donors, and this dead body is not the only donor, there are other donors, then you cannot take his organs. However, according to Sayyid Sistani, he says that if he gave consent, you can take his organs and you do not need to pay diya, which is blood money. You don't need to pay diya because he gave consent. However, if he did not give consent, someone did not give consent, he died and he didn't give consent, and someone's life depended on his organs, someone's life depended on his heart or kidneys or liver, then you may take his organs. However, you must pay what? Diya. You must pay blood money. Some might ask, but how does this make sense? In Islam, we are not allowed to disrespect a human body. A human's body, whether he's alive or he's dead, the sanctity is the same. Hurmatul Muslim, hay or mayyit, it's the same. Can you injure a human body? No. Can you cut a person's finger off when he's alive? Of course not. When he's dead, you can't as well. It's the same sanctity. You can't. So some say, then how does this work together? How do we say that a human body has a sanctity even after death, but you say that you can donate? Our scholars say we can take his bodily organs. To explain this, I must introduce a theory in Islamic principles of jurisprudence called at-tazahum. What does at-tazahum mean? At-tazahum means to give priority to that which is more important rather than to something that is important. You have two things, something that's important and something that's more important, and you can only choose one. Which one do you choose? Which one do you choose? Obviously you choose something that is more important. Let me give you an example. If you're stuck in the desert, before that, is drinking alcohol allowed in Islam? Of course not. If you're stuck in the desert and you're about to die, and the only thing that you have is a bottle of alcohol, do you have to save your life or you don't have to save your life? Here, do you drink the alcohol or you don't drink the alcohol? What does Islam say? Islam says yes. Yes, there's two things. Here, there's something that's important, which is not drinking alcohol. And there's something more important, which is saving your life. Islam here says choose the thing that's more important over the thing that's important. Taqdeem al-aham ala al-muhim. This, in Islamic principles of jurisprudence, this is called tazahum. We come to our issue. Here we have a human body that just died, a Muslim. Cutting him, taking his organs is disrespectful, it's haram. But at the same time, you have another human being that needs this organ. You can save that person's life. What does Islam say? Islam says that saving a human life is more important than disrespecting a human body. Take his organs and save a human life. If you've been following with me and I haven't lost you till yet, send aloud salawat. And the third, and we conclude with this. Patients who suffer from brain stem death. What does brain stem death mean? You see, some people, they go into a coma. They go into a comatose. Going into a coma, there's two types. There's going into a coma where there's a possibility of recovering. Even if it's after 10 years, there's a chance of recovering. This is one. There's another kind of coma, which is called brain stem death, in which there's according to scientists, according to specialists, there is absolutely no chance of recovery when the brain is fully dead, and this is called brain stem death. And this was discovered about 40 years ago. They discovered that when a person goes into brain stem death, there is absolutely no chance of recovery. We are talking about this, brain stem death, not a person who goes into a coma and recovers after a week, obviously. We don't want to take that person's organs because he's going to wake up and he's going to see something missing. No. I'm talking about those who suffer from what? Brain stem death, who have absolutely no chance of recovery. They're only breathing. And they're breathing because they're put on a machine, they're put on life support, they're put on a ventilator. Otherwise, if that machine is taken away from them, what happens? What happens? They die. They die without the life support machine. They can't breathe. The only way they could breathe is because of that life support machine. Now here, the question is, there's two questions actually. Number one, can we take the life support machine off of this person or no? Can we take it off? This is one. Because if we take it off, that person will definitely die. He will stop breathing and the heart will stop. The brain is already dead, but the heart will also stop. This is the first question. The second question is, can we take this person's organs? Because he's never coming back to life again. Definitely he's not coming back to life. Can we take his organs? Here also you have various opinions. One opinion says, yes, in fact, take this person off of life support. Take him off. Why? Because he looks like a human being. He looks like he's alive. But he's actually what? He's dead. And you know, in some countries, those who undergo brain stem death are legally dead. Meaning you could go and inherit their money. He's still breathing. He still has oxygen in his chest, yet the government says that he's dead. His wife could go and remarry, and his children can inherit him. It's a legal death. The first opinion says that this person is not a human anymore. This person is a couch. He's a vegetable, right? They always say this. He's a vegetable. He's no longer a human. What's the difference between him and a couch or a vegetable? They're senseless. So why don't you take the life support off? This is one. Two, they say, let's end the suffering. This person is suffering. Let's end the suffering and take the life support machine off. Three, we're spending thousands of money on this person. You know, the life support machine, it's not for free. It has a price. Let's take it off, let this person die, and stop wasting money. 4, perhaps this person that's on life support is in a hospital and taking up room. Maybe that hospital has 8 beds. Someone else will die, or someone else will come in critical condition and will want that bed, but this person who has stem death will be taking up that bed. That means he's using someone's spot. Let's take off the life support and make room for others who have a more likely chance of surviving, and so on and so forth. This is one of, and let's benefit from his organs as well. This is one of their, let's benefit from their organs. Perhaps we can save someone's life. Another opinion says that first of all, who told you this is not a human being? This is a human being. Why are you calling him a couch or a vegetable? He's still a human being. Two, who told you he's suffering? Where did you come up with this? That this person is suffering. Maybe if he dies, he'll go and suffer. Who said he's suffering? Three, who told you that he has no chance of recovery? Who told you? They might tell you, well, say, this is science. Scientists are telling you. Well, I'll say that scientists are always correct. Scientists don't make mistakes. Scientists are ma'asumeen, they're infallible, they don't make mistakes. They always make mistakes. Perhaps 10 years from now, why 10 years? Maybe a year from now, they will discover a cure for those who have brainstem death. Maybe they'll discover a way for them to bring them back to life. Scientists make mistakes all the time. I've seen people that are diagnosed by scientists and doctors with cancer and turned out to be that they don't have cancer. Or sometimes they tell pregnant women that your child has, for example, Down syndrome, and then when she gives birth, the child is safe and sound and they don't have Down syndrome. My point is, doctors and scientists make mistakes all the time. Well, perhaps they're making a mistake now. This person who would take him off of life support, perhaps there was a chance of surviving, rescuing him. These are various opinions. What does Islam say? Islam, my dear brothers and sisters, says that death is the death of the heart, not the death of the brain. As long as the heart is working, even if it's on life support, as long as it's inhaling and exhaling, as long as the heart still beats, this person is alive. This is a human being that's alive, and you cannot take him off of life support. It is haram. It is murder to take that person off of life support. This person is a human being. He's alive. And hence, because he's alive, can you take his organs? You cannot take his organs as well. Because this person is alive, is still alive. You can't take his organs. Yes, there are two exceptions. Scholars have stated two exceptions. If this person, who all doctors say he has absolutely no chance of recovery, and he's taking room in a hospital, and they bring another person who has a chance of living, who has a chance of surviving, who does not suffer from brainstem death, and there's only one bed in the hospital, either for this person or that person. A person who has no chance of recovery, or a person who has a chance of recovery. Here, who do you put? What do you say? Obviously, you choose the person who has a chance of surviving. A person who's not suffering from brainstem death. You might say, what's your proof? Does it say it in the Quran? Do we have a hadith that says this? No. Our proof is that theory that we just mentioned, at-tazahum. Giving precedence to that which is more important rather than something that is important. Correct? Qa'idat at-tazahum. Scholars say that choose the one who is more likely to survive because of qa'idat at-tazahum. This is one exception. Two, when it comes to donating organs, you have a person who is suffering from brain stem death, who will never recover, as scientists and doctors are telling us. And you have another person who is suffering from lung failure, or heart failure, and there is absolutely no other donor, Islam here says what? Don't let this person die. This person has a chance of recovery, he can live. But this person, if all doctors and scientists are saying he has no chance of recovery, then take his heart and give it to that person. Take his kidney and give it to that person. Again, what is our proof? What is our proof? قاعدة التزاحم. Choosing what is more important over something that is important. And this is a principle, a theory that is accepted by all scholars. As you see, my dear brothers and sisters, in conclusion, our fiqh, our ijtihad is open. It's open till today. Scholars till today can come up with new solutions for new problems. Any problem that exists, any issue, any topic that exists today, Islam has an answer. Islam is never outdated. Islam is never outdated and never cannot be applied. No, Islam is applicable at any time, at any place, because the door of ijtihad is open. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. اللهم إني أسألك أن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر من الأمر المحتوم في الأمر الحكيم من القضاء الذي لا يرد ولا يبدل أن تكتبنا من حجاج بيتك الحرام المبرور حجهم المشكور سعيهم المغفور ذنوبهم المكفر عنهم سيئاتهم وأن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر أن تطيل عمري في خير وعافية وتوسع في رزقي وتجعلني ممن ينتصر به لدينك ولا تستبدل بي غيري. أعوذ بجلال وجهك الكريم أن ينقضي عني شهر رمضان أو يطلع الفجر من ليلتي هذه ولك قبلي تبعة أو ذنب تعذبني عليه. ولأرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات الفاتحة مع الصلوات.